I didn't pray quiet, I prayed loud because I wanted God to hear me. Overall, that was going on outside. You could hear trees falling.
Well, that wind sound like a train or some loud sound came through.
I think it didn't get any worse, but actually the winds got a lot worse.
Our house was not completely off its foundation, turned around and twisted. We lost both floors.
There was no news reports because all the radio stations were wiped out. Television stations were wiped out. We were just really isolated.
After Hugo left, the winds finally died down about 6 a.m. That Friday morning, we saw destruction like nobody could have guessed.
When we got out into the area and we started seeing the number of trees down on the line and the poles laying in the road and transformers laying in the road, we were just devastated.
Unless you've ever been through something like this, you know, when Friday morning, when you've got almost 50,000 consumers and none of them have power, you know you got a great undertaking ahead of you. And
we didn't have a meter turning out there. Every one of our consumers was without electricity. And it was to the point where you just threw the planning book out the door and you just had to take one step at a time. We just immediately started going out there and start working on the thing and make something out of nothing.
Making something out of nothing. It's a prospect a lot of us had to face.
It's not going to take a while. You just got to organize your mind first. See, I don't want to say that I'm in shock, but every time I go back that way over there, I feel like I pick up more things, and I don't know where to put it. I think anywhere I want to put it, they don't fit. You know, just move your stuff around. I don't have no place to go, no place to... This is what all we have. It's very sad, very, very, very sad. How many people just like me? Thousands. Everywhere you look. We was fortunate because we don't lost too many lives, you know, that's the only thing. Life is the main important thing than ourselves, you know. But the material things, we're never gonna, I would never gonna get back what I lost. Let's just put 30 years of my life on this. I hope I'm gonna live another 30 years, but I don't think I'm gonna accumulate in 30 years what I got over here now. But I ain't gonna go. I came over here 30 years ago. I live here, I fight here, and I will die here. Keep that in mind.
Right now we're down here trying to go through my sister's things, and actually we're looking for some toys. She's got 3 girls. And we're trying to find their things in all this. The girls had some special requests to find lunch boxes that were their favorites and things like that, so that's what we're trying to dig out of all this if we can. And the other stuff we're just trying to get as we come across it. I'm sure they're going to be happy to see some familiar things after a few days. You see stuff on the news and until you're actually here, unless you know somebody it's happened to. You can't even imagine.
Our house was moved back about 300 feet from its moorings. All the pilings that had been sunk 4 feet into the ground were sucked out from under. And this is basically what we have left. We had a 3,200 square foot home. And then a oversized garage with a 800 square foot loft in it and a boat shed, and they're all gone. But a lot of what you see here isn't even ours. It's neighbors from all around. And I tend to think that probably if the tornadoes had not come through and ripped up what was left after the surge, we might have had more left to work with. Because I think the water probably just picked everything up and turned it around and set it back down. And the wind damage probably just killed everything off. So. Yeah, we just had no idea that anything could be this destructive, this forceful. I don't see how you men even begin to know where to start to restore power.
I was so angry with my neighbor, Seal. She came over to borrow a cup of sugar, and she took my whole kitchen. Now, you know neighbors are really getting pushy. But anyway, this is my kitchen. It's totally intact. Almost. And the cabinet was above. This is wonderful. The cabinet was above there and put my dishes in the sink looking like I haven't done dishes in about a year. But the kitchen's intact. I thought, well, maybe get a crane and put it back where it was, but it's a little warm. Over here, if you look out my window, this is a beautiful picture window. It's a great view of a clover. There's a pecan orchard here. And around that road where you see daylight is the marsh and the intercoastal waterway. And there were houses all along there. Those houses are right here. That's the floor to the house. There's the roof to the house. There's chairs, memorabilia.
But there are a lot of people in this area. This is all they got. I mean, you know, some of these boats you're seeing on the hill are the people's lives. They won't have anything else. They're already mortgaged to the hilt as it is. And to run to the bank and say, I need $50,000 or $20,000 to get my boat back in the water, I think it's going to really be tough on them.
They have no place to live. They have no source of income. And it's going to take years. Oh, talked to all the shrimpers today and the fishermen. Everything's polluted, all the shellfish, so there will be no shellfish this year from out there. Clams, the oysters, they're polluted. So there's no hope for any income. And this is their sole income.
We're real fortunate, we are, because this is not our only income, you know. It's a lot of our lives, but it's not like a lot of these people down here. You know, a lot of these people are totally lost to everything.
But we help one another, and then we make it. But I don't know about it tomorrow. Where is the source of income going to come?
And these are people that didn't have 2 and 3 homes. They didn't have a home. So we're going to open up a shelter over there, but it's kind of hard to get them in here right now. But we'll get through it. And this is the McClellanville United Methodist Church charge. We have 3 churches, about 200 members, and over half of our members are homeless. We had McClellanville and Allendale, Cape Romaine, and you know the story up there.
Yeah.
So I have the rich and the famous. I have both ends of the spectrum. And we're going to try to provide some housing. 2 churches came in this morning and brought food and clothes and blankets. Filled the church, and it's just about all gone. We've got another church coming tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We got some Pampers. We have everything except ice and a generator.
We didn't get hit by a tree. What happened, all the shingles came off and all that water got down in there, and so my whole son's roof is laying on the floor sandwiched, and like I said, that's all coming down to my room. But we got flooded. We probably had about 8 inches of water, and so my whole downstairs is gone. And what I hear is if it's salt water, all your appliances are ruined. Yeah. So all my appliances are gone. So I've got about 2 months to find something else to someplace else to live. I don't know. God must really hate us to give us all this rain after.
And we're trying to help everybody in our subdivisions at least get roofs patched and stuff like that to try to limit the damage. And we rely on subcontractors and suppliers. The suppliers are dealing with the same thing. And an example would be, we talked to our drywall man. Everybody's got drywall damage, but the roof of his warehouse blew off and he lost 12 trucks. So getting the power back on for the people that are in the individual homeowners that we have already will allow them to really better assess what, you know, they can live. I think psychologically it's the biggest thing you could do. Just giving them lights and exposing them to TV and just better information will be the big key.
Our homes, our farms, our businesses, our whole lives torn apart. The Berkeley Cooperative suffered along with our community. Hurricane Hugo destroyed in 6 hours what it took the co-op 50 years to build. The estimates look grim. People suggested 2 months to get the system back together. Without electricity, people in Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties had no water, no sewer service, not to mention lights and refrigeration. Just living would be tough, let alone rebuilding.
When you get out and look at the system and see all the lines on the ground, you get a shock feeling, but you start locating crews and getting them coming in.
We made the calls. Crews started coming in from all over the eastern United States. The earliest ones had to cut their own path in. Over 100 crews came from our fellow co-ops and from contractors. More than 1,000 people in all to help us get Berkeley Electric Cooperative back hot. And they got right to work, hard work. These fellas left their homes and families behind and came here to work for they didn't know how long. Making sure all these crews were doing the right thing in the right place at the right time was a full-time operation. And we needed information coming in to do it. Each crew had a Berkeley person either working with them or checking in to make sure they had what they needed and knew where to go next. They radioed their progress to our dispatchers. SCADA, our computer-based monitoring system, gave us up-to-the-second status reports on circuits all through the system. We use SCADA in our normal operations because it'll let us know instantly when a circuit goes down. The SCADA system was indispensable during this effort. All this information helped us assess and adjust our planning. In another office, our accountants started looking at another concern to our members, the costs.
The damage estimates have ranged anywhere between $37 million to $50 million. What we're trying to do now is get some of the federal grant money through FEMA agency. Anything that we can do to try to keep the cost down to our consumers so that the effect from this storm will be as minimal as possible is what we're trying to do.
Behind the scenes, Berkeley office personnel put in long days of hard work, keeping the effort rolling. No matter how different their jobs were, each one became crucial.
Basically, what I've been doing during the storm is trying to keep up with all these crews. We've been changing them out. We've been calling people, trying to get some more crews in here, and trying to help Libby with the room reservations, tell her who's coming and who's going. And it's almost never right because they're changing every day. It's been tough.
I've been more or less monitoring the substations as they bring them back online, and handling a bunch of minor emergencies and things like that.
I do an update on the crews as they come in and they leave. Well, we have the crews that come in from different states and different areas, and we keep up with who's on the crew and what area they're working in, and then update it as to when they leave.
Sometimes we found ourselves doing things we'd never done in our jobs before, like washing load after load of laundry for the line crews. And each department was working beyond maximum capacity.
Due to Hurricane Hugo, we are experiencing power outages system-wide. This means every consumer served by Berkeley Electric. Please leave lines available for extreme emergencies and district office communications. Thank you.
Our responsibility is to maintain all the vehicles for Berkeley Electric Co-op, and some of the contractors that do not have the mechanics, we maintain their own. We repair most anything that goes wrong with them, from hydraulics, tires, bearings, transmissions, motors, tune-ups. We're just here to keep them going 24 hours a day. Our normal working hours is from 7 to 9, but since the hurricane, we've been working around the clock. We got 2 shifts, one from 6 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, and 6 in the afternoon to 6 in the morning. That's what we're running right now.
At the end of each day, our foremen and managers met to plan the next day's work.
You've had them from Howell side?
Yeah, Bono side.
From Bono side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm lost on
You setting
that.
poles in that subdivision now?
That's that, and those people on.
Okay.
A few hours of sleep later, they were back at it again.
Where are you coming in from?
Lexington, South Carolina, see us. Bringing this stuff in since Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff you bringing in?
All kind of electrical equipment, wire, transformers, cross arms. Anything to do with what puts the wire back up.
Anywhere where they need a pole, we can take it.
First stop, Midway. We're short of poles in Goose Creek. Yes.
We kind of take it a day at a time right now, because you can't, when it's over, have $2 or $3 million of excess material left, but you've got to have enough to keep the job going. So we pretty well take it day by day right now. I get a list from the warehouse mid-morning, mid-afternoon, call the suppliers, have it in that night, crews take it out the next morning, we're ready to go again.
Walk about 3 or 4 miles in the woods, toward everything by hand. It's a long as nightmare, put it that way.
We work for utilities. They just told us stand by and pack 7 days worth of clothes. And there was a hurricane fixing to hit the coast. And that we'd go down after it hit.
Where you guys from?
Live Oak, Florida.
Yeah. You been working real hard?
Staying busy.
Yeah. What kind of hours you been working?
18 a day.
Really?
First 3 days we was there was non-stop.
You getting it done now?
We're trying.
What do you think about the disaster?
Awesome. I ain't never seen nothing like it before.
got stuck, it's stuck there. We can't get it out. Well, we can get it out. We're gonna try and get a running start. If we don't, we're going to go out and get a wing to get it.
Y'all watch out. Hang it out.
Pretty good.
Yeah?
What kind of hours y'all been working?
About 12, 15, 18, 19. All day.
How long can you keep this up?
We have to keep it up until the job finishes.
Which how long do you think that might take?
It'd be at least about a month and a half. Maybe 2 months. All spent.
We had to cut all these trees out of the way, sleeve all those wires broke, set new poles. Everything was down.
Doesn't sound easy.
It ain't.
Been working long hours?
18, 19 hours a day. You got enough?
Man, I woke up this morning, man, both of my arms was just numb. And it takes us a while to get started this morning now.
You guys from?
Midland, Georgia.
It's a long way. You've been here since the storm?
Now we come in a week after. Went to Darlington, South Carolina the first week. Working over there for a week and then come up here.
They have it bad up there.
Thought it was. It wasn't nothing like it is here though.
You ever seen anything like it?
So I hope I don't see it again.
Hey, we're gonna get to eat tonight. wouldn't let us eat last night. Now we're gonna get to eat tonight.
You sure did. I know some old gal out here cooked for y'all last night. Y'all skipped lunch and supper. We knew something was going on out here. You better like that lady on the radio. She's calling, said any lineman in the area can spend the night with me. So you can give her phone number. She said, I'll take seven linemen. God, no. He said, what is it, that Q107 guy? He said, how about somebody else? She said, hell no. I want to take linemen and that's it.
Ain't nothing to put in the hole after we have to drive these pieces of tree in there. Ain't got no material.
See if we can get this pole to stay straight with all this little shoring we got up there. It looks like it's gonna work pretty good. We got, look at this one.
Fielding so many crews in the middle of a disaster area made for some serious logistical problems for the first day or two after the hurricane.
And now the other problem is trying to house them, find somewhere for them to stay, because there wasn't any power, there wasn't any water. That was our food and whatnot was even having to be trucked in from Columbia. The first day or 2 days, we had men that reported to us that had not had any sleep. They slept on the floor and in vehicles.
Some slept in trucks, some had hotel rooms, not all of them. So the next day it was frantic, trying to find everybody rooms. We received cots from the Red Cross. We got blankets. Our Trident Tech Center here let us house the people there. And we slept, average about 45, 60 men out there for about a week and a half.
We didn't even have food to feed them. We carried them out in the field and worked them. And it was in the afternoon before we even had sandwiches for them. And a lot of the men that came in didn't realize how bad this thing was. They were getting upset because they thought that we weren't taking care of them. But really, we couldn't do anything different. We had folks that was working hard trying to secure meals and whatnot.
Co-op people, both employees and members, got to work on meeting the need. Berkeley arranged with several local restaurants to open up, but we had to run them on generators, and we had to staff them with Berkeley people. While working full days at the co-op, many of our office staff pitched in and learned how to run a restaurant. Johns Island, we helped run the National Guard's field kitchens. People from all over our community joined in and just started helping each other.
Want some water? Yeah. Thing as well as here.
What are you using the water for?
Drink. This right here I'm taking around to some friends of mine so they can flush the colognes. But this is supposed to still be good to drink.
We got lucky and picked up some ice on the way home, so we stopped and given everybody a bag. Came from Mount Pleasant, Piggly Wiggly on the bypass, and I was heading out to Allendale where we live. I got 10 bags, which was 2 packs. I got 10 available. So I gave 2 away up the road. I'm going down the road. No, you're all right. You're all right. You'll be all right. We're all chipping in on the road, and everybody's cooking at one place, and we're all eating together and that type of thing. Whatever we can do together, get through.
As far as the fire department, we're trying to locate the elderly people. I have a generator on my trucks, and we're going around to the elderly people and pumping water, telling them to catch it in the bathtubs. They can use it, for flushing commodes and washing and stuff like that. I recommend them not to drink the water that is being put into tubs, but they're catching water in jugs and containers, and that way they can have drinking water too.
Well, we are maintaining ourselves more like from neighbors, and some points we has food in the house would be like canned goods and hot dogs on the hot plates over here. But somehow we are surviving at this given point.
Some of us just couldn't stand waiting and took on the wreckage single-handed.
Try this at home, kids.
folks who lost everything gave of themselves. Using food salvaged from freezers and brought in from outside, they turned churches, schools, fire stations, and other public buildings into dining rooms for the crews.
And we got a big pot of soup coming. Well, you know, when we found out that these guys, you know, well, we understand with no electricity, the restaurants can't operate. And so we found out that they didn't have anything to eat. My husband said, you just hang on. We're going to feed you very shortly.
We got a man that's saying.
But if I gotta walk, I'm gonna get to the same. I'm gonna Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one.
You just saw. Never. Yeah. Somebody sawed the pole down, so they got carried away with the chainsaw. How y'all faring out there?
Have you ever seen a hurricane before? What do you think about all this? Were you scared?
Yes.
Were you awake or did you sleep through the whole thing?
I was awake. Luke slept through the whole thing. I did. Shut up, Wanda. We on TV. Oh.
Were you surprised?
No. I slept. Luke slept through the whole thing, and I slept through just the tornado.
Did you know what a hurricane was before?
No. I did.
No, it's the way we were raised up. They were raised up, rather. It's to share with one another, look out for one another. So this fire department here has been one of our pet projects in the last few years. And so this is just, I can run a chainsaw, but I told these guys that they'd run a chainsaw, I'd swing the cook pots. I mean, they send me pots like this. I fill them up too.
It's a ham sandwich any day.
I hear you.
We fried chicken yesterday. I think we fried about 25 pounds of chicken yesterday. And then we had fresh vegetables out the garden that was in the freezer, and rice. I think it was 70 yesterday. I think we had 70. Yeah, I think all told, something in that neighborhood. Then all the girls come down here early this morning, and this other lady in here, Miss Smith, sausage and ham, and that's when we discovered that the stove, and if you show this on television and anybody's got a stove, please send it to us. The stove didn't work, just 2 eyes on top. So we had to get little outside cookers in and get it going. And but we got it done. We had them ready to go to work by daylight.
So, how's it going? Going pretty slow. Yeah. A lot of trees. That's about the thing. Ain't got no line over. How long do you think you'll be down is up? That's a daggone tree. How long do you think you'll be here? Well,
7 days.
I'm 25 right now, probably about 30. Give or take a year or two. Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything quite this bad?
Not my lifetime. Watch us take them down. You want to see this?
Does it look like a hurricane to you? Look like a hurricane did it, or what?
There's a lot, I think there's a lot of tornadoes in it too right here, because there's spots just native trees standing, just all snapped off, just all around the lakes, in the swamp.
So what are you doing out there?
What they pay us for?
Oh, just trying to get as much up as we can. As far as that. One thing that's pretty nice is we're, I guess, pretty fortunate to have such nice people taking care of us. That's one thing we appreciate. We thank, everybody in there for giving us a place to stay and giving us food.
Like they said, they come in the house any day and sleep. Right in there, all I got to do is tell them.
You go to Gwinnett County, they won't tell you that. You go to Gwinnett County, they gonna ask you why ain't they got no power.
People like these people here, a lot of them have lost a lot of, their homes and everything like that. They still take time, fix us up, to eat, fix us a place to sleep.
Yeah, they've been good to us.
Yeah. It don't matter when we come in or anything else. They've got us a place.
A hot meal, a place to sleep. Simple things, really. Well, get what sleep you can, fellas, because we got some tough days ahead.
It looks like the most serious damage is between the Edisto and the Santee rivers in a swath that goes from Charleston almost to Charlotte. Closer to the Santee River is where we've seen the most damage. On the other side of Mock's Corner, I guess, Ed, to how far?
Well, up towards King Street.
Yeah, okay. The Somerton area is very bad. We've seen bad damage in that area. It looks like where we just came south of here, the damage is not quite as bad.
Those are probably 35, 40 years old, and it's taken them that long, of course, to get there. Now they're going to be a mess there, and it's going to be a long time before a good, fully stocked stand gets reestablished. So 50, 75 years and beyond before we'll get a recovery from what we've received during the last few days. Well, of course, where it landed on houses and landed on power lines, that's pretty obvious, It doesn't take a genius to see that that's been very devastating, too. And the trees are, in large part, responsible for knocking the power lines down and going through houses and so on. But there's other things that had a part in that. But the trees have been the biggest thing that's knocked the power lines down and done the damage to houses. Now, some of the trailers and so on that I've seen, they've just blown off just from sheer force, and you see shingles lost and things of that nature. But the trees have been responsible for some of the damage, no question about it. But we still think trees are a good plant.
%70 of the timber was down in the Tri-County area. It seemed like every one of those trees took a power line down with it. First, we had to clear the rights away, several hundred miles of them.
It's going through cutting out all these trees, getting the wire back up, tying it back in so we can make it back hot,
Following close behind, crews laid out tons of line over hundreds of miles, repairing what lines they could and replacing the rest. More than 3,000 poles brought in from all over the southeast were set one at a time. And 5 more inches of rain in the days after the storm didn't make it any easier.
It's just a slow process. And you got water running, anywhere from knee deep up to about neck deep. Lots of mud. And the wires are down buried, you just flat buried. You got to walk in and carry all your gear in by hand.
And I know a lot of people wondering why it's taking so long, but they can just look around at all these conditions
and this mud and this water, the long hours we putting in, and they can see why it's taking us so long.
Highway officials needed to know where we were going next so they could clear those roads. An emergency operations center was set up at Charleston. State, county, and municipal officials needed to keep in touch with everything that was going on. Communication was crucial to the recovery effort. A Berkeley representative was present there at all times.
This is a suction lift sewage pump, and that's not on yet, but it'll be up this afternoon.
We hope it'll be up this afternoon, yeah.
We also maintained communication in the field, county engineers and other departments.
All right, well, I'll let you go.
Any problems? That's definitely true, and the main
The
problem
media were briefed regularly at the Emergency Operations Center, and Berkeley called and updated all our local radio stations on an hourly basis. Sometimes your troubles don't seem so bad if you know when they're going to be over. We tried to let our members know where we were and what we were doing. Our co-op members waited patiently, but it wasn't always easy.
Well, I'm still waiting. I certainly hope it'll be pretty soon.
Of course, when you talk about lights in this area, you're also talking about water. It's terrible not to be able to go and turn the spigot on. It's something that's natural and it's not there no longer.
The wife would say no microwave, no music, no power.
Then after that, of course, no water, no electricity. With children, that is very difficult.
They got two little kids, and we're trying to get their lights back on. That's the only thing I believe is holding us up. The trees and everything's holding us up, that's all.
That's how we got them up, house after house, all 50,000 of them, quicker than even we expected.
We got a subdivision down at the end of this. It's underground. Probably, I guess they had it back in there. Must be what, 300 or 400 houses about there. And we're gonna get them on tonight, hopefully.
Well, they surprised me. They're coming right along. I wasn't looking for lights for about probably 3 weeks or more. And I'm surprised they're out here doing this. I mean, I'm glad to see them.
Trying to get some more houses on. They said we put about 500 on this crew did. Trying to get a few more on.
Well, I mean, we got some skis here, man. They're here now. I tell you, man, yesterday eat you up, yeah. Yes, sir. We got some skitty yum. You can sing before you get to the house. Yeah, I can't understand that song, but they be singing before you even get to the house. You know they come because they be singing, you know. You know they ain't too far off, you know, when they start singing.
We had to line down over there in the swamp, pole down. We had to do some rigging to get them back on. And they come back around and put the fuse barrel back in. So they got it. They quit fussing.
Okay. See his wires right here? See how they raw right in here? Uh-huh. You need to get your electrician to change these wires up for you. And check these wires back here on the back here.
I remember them days. We had to cook. We had to cook on a wood stove, and just we just learned to live with it. And boy, I thought that was wonderful to have power for the first time. Well, we had to live with oil lamps, and the other night we had to use the oil lamp about 2-3 days. It was just a must to do it to survive.
Yes, we work a lot of hours. Seems as though that we've been coming this thing though. I won't mind working a lot of hours when I'm getting somewhere. And this is what's good. I got the praise last night from the boss, man. He said, we're doing a good job. I like to hear that. I make a man work better.
Everyone was
say, Mr. Chance said, you don't have a tree. We've just been in here about 3 months. See. I said, no, and I don't have any leaves. Now I'm glad I don't have the damage.
And I want you all to know that you're lifting us up by putting this light on. The other day you came up, joy came to my heart.
I think they're great. They're doing a wonderful job out there day and night fixing the lines. We're ready for some power out here, have a hot shower.
Much better, much better. I'm sure my wife, she was about to leave me, you know. but I'm going down to Charleston and pick her up now because the light is coming.
And it's great to have them back. I tell you, the day before yesterday I didn't have phone or electricity, and the water wasn't drinkable. And today I got drinkable water, electricity, and a phone. So I'm probably real fortunate.
Boy, so a lot of people.
Yeah, it's been a real trying experience. The neighborhood here's really gathered together. We had a big cookout the other night. Everybody had meats going bad and such. We had a big cookout here in front of my house. It was touching to see everybody come together like that. It was real nice. And I tell you what, I think if I had to go about another week without power, it would have really got rough. So I think these guys really deserve a pat on the back. They've been out, as far as I know, 24 hours a day since it started. And most everywhere you go in Goose Creek now, they got power back. So I think Goose Creek was real fortunate.
Co-op's the greatest company I've ever been with. I'll tell you it's a fact. They give you rebates on your bill, and they open up and rip you off with that CB&G. And I'll tell you what's a fact. It's a community thing, and I love it. People stick together with it, and they're fair, and they keep the rates down. For my money, that's it.
Make sure you guys eat good. You know, I know you're putting in the hours and everything, and you ain't getting much. You ain't getting much as far as warm food goes. There you go. You guys are getting it down here a lot quicker than what I figured you would. A whole lot quicker.
What were you expecting?
Another week, 2, maybe 3. No stores back there, no businesses, so I figured it'd be a while. So did everybody else.
They come by and ask us if there's anything we need. And if we need anything, they'll go get it. Coffee, cold drinks, cake. You want to say something? We got a bin slam full of cake.
Really?
You want to see that cake?
Yeah.
It'll make your heart hungry. These people brought this by today.
Lord.
Cakes.
Man, oh man.
And a whole box full. We ain't even had time to eat it. Drinks? They bring drinks back by 12-pack.
Man.
Pepsi, Coke, Mountain Dew, anything.
Sounds great.
It helps us.
So people are real appreciative?
Yeah, very. We don't even have to leave the job to go eat no more. We got more to eat than we can eat, really.
Does it make you feel good that people appreciate what you do?
First time in my life it's ever happened like this.
Really?
I know people in bad shape down here. We'll get them back on one day.
Man.
I was out at sea and I just got back yesterday. I'm telling you, a lot of people are suffering pretty bad, but from what I've heard, Berkeley Co-op has been doing a real good job. Like I said, if there's any way I can lend any assistance, I'd be glad to. I'm an electronics technician in the Navy, and I do know a little bit about electricity, and I'd be glad to help.
They didn't have any power, but they was offering you food, and what they had, you had it. And that just make you feel warm, you know, make you feel welcome, you know. You don't mind helping people like that.
It makes you feel good when the lights go on, and it makes them feel a lot better, I know, but it makes us feel just as good. They don't realize that, but it does.
All right, power! Power! Oh, God, I can't believe it. 2 weeks, we finally got power. Okay, everybody, let's go take a bath. Do anything you want to do. I got power, power, power. Thanks, guys! I really appreciate it.
That makes your day now.
The two young men that were out here that hooked it up said they had been working from 6 in the morning till way late at night. And I think that's wonderful of them because I know that they have homes and they have children and they have people who they would like to be with. And so I think that shows a caring for your fellow man and not just for yourselves. And I think maybe that's why we had the hurricane, because I think we had lost that. And the basic things, the water and the electricity and caring for your neighbor are much more important than the things that a lot of us, I think we need or want that we don't.
I went home Thursday afternoon around lunchtime and secured my yard, so to speak, and told the family goodbye. And, you know, that Thursday night and Friday morning, I'm here and they're home. And that bothers you. And I managed to get to them Friday morning about 6 o'clock, and they were alive and well. They were at the neighbor's house. And then the first time I did see them again was the Monday. I went home for about 2 hours and, saw them and saw my house. And that didn't make it any better, but, you have a job to do. And, my wife told me, she says, I feel like you're in the military. And I said, no. That's the way it is when you work for a co-op. It's something you got to do, and we all pitch in and do it. Whatever it takes to get the job done, we'll do it.
Why is it that the co-ops stick together the way they do?
Well, we just need each other. We can't make it by ourselves. That's the way it ought to be.
Well, that makes me feel good because 5 years ago we had a tornado hit Newberry and everybody pitched in and helped us, and now we return the favor.
Family, I reckon. Everybody just gets in and helps, I reckon. Of course, whenever we had our storm break, we had people from all over the place that was down there helping too. So, I mean, when they help us, we might as well help them too. So, we don't mind it. We tough.
I know if this would have hit in a different part of the state, if they'd needed our help, Berkeley would have been there.
They willing to help, just like we willing to help them, and I think that's what makes it all go around.
Makes you feel like Santa Claus there when you give them the power to them, where they rejoice over.
We got lights, we got lights.
Thank God.
Thank God for Berkeley Co-op.
We had estimated 2 months, maybe more, to restore power across the system. But less than 4 weeks after the hurricane, our 50,000 meters were back hot. And I'd have to say it was working together that did it. Our members, our employees, especially the crews, ours, our contractors, and our fellow cooperatives. Everybody giving everything they had. Before Hugo, we were confident of our strengths, our modern equipment and facilities, our progressive management, and most of all, our foundation as a part of this community. This disaster tested those strengths, and I think we can be proud of what we found and confident that we can move on, stronger than ever and ready to face anything the future holds.
May I add one small voice to the great shout of thanks to all at Berkeley Co-op.
It was so nice to take a hot bath, cook, and have lights. Indoor camping is
when the lights came on at midnight, our first thought was that some poor tired person was
Each
still
worker needs an additional pat on the back for recovering electricity to all of us in the Low Country.
So much of yourselves and sacrifice so much time from your families and your regular life for us. May God bless.
I know we can't say thanks to everybody, such as the crew from Atlanta who worked on my place, but I wanted to say...
No matter how many people have screamed and thrown fits with you, know that there are countless thousands of us who feel the way we do, that the co-op is and always has done an excellent job of providing service to us.